Hello and welcome to Will Watches This Moon Knight episode 3. So Mark is now in control and we're in Egypt, which is really exciting because the director of this is Egyptian himself and he's made a big deal about getting it right and getting it accurate and representing Egypt really well. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here. Hopefully learn a bit more about Mark now that Mark is in control as well. And then one thing I've thought of, I don't think it will actually happen, but we're learning a lot about Egyptian gods here, and we haven't seen any of the other gods. It's making me wonder, Thor Love and Thunder is coming up, and Gorr the God Butcher is going to be the villain of that. I don't think Gorr would show up here, but maybe they acknowledge him somehow, or they reference him somehow, like he's killed an Egyptian god. That'd be really interesting. Just something to tie it into Gorr the God Butcher. That would be really interesting to see. But I don't think he would make an actual appearance in this show. But it would be cool just to get that reference to the larger MCU, So before we jump into this, be sure to check out the Patreon. Over there you can find full-length timer-based reactions. You can also find polls so you can vote for what's next. And you can find early access for other shows. So yeah, let's just jump right in.
You don't need to doubt her judgment.
I do actually kind of hope we see Amit be resurrected, just to see the design and everything. Like Amit gets resurrected and then they do something to kill her or bind her again. And now Mark is the one in control now for this episode, hopefully. Get to see a bit more of him. And I really appreciate that they don't have the kind of yellow filter over Egypt, She set up a fake passport.
That's why you look so unhappy to be going home.
Oh, so she's Egyptian.
I don't steal. They've already been stolen.
Where does she steal them from? Like steal them from museums and take them back to Egypt, that kind of thing.
Turn them to their rightful owners.
Oh, steal them from the black market, okay.
I wonder what your father would think of his little scarab now.
So it was her dad's scarab, and then that's how Mark and her met.
Got any place for a child?
Oh, her dad was like an archaeologist. I wonder if the actress is half Egyptian as well then. Because I know the director, he was really big on making sure all the Egypt stuff was authentic because he's Egyptian himself. I mean, she might not necessarily be Egyptian. She could have just grown up there because her dad was an archaeologist. He could have been an archaeologist there, But then didn't Mark kill some archaeologists? If I'm remembering from the last episode, what those fake police officers said. He doesn't have anything to do with like her dad's death or something, does he? I can't remember if it was archaeologists that he killed or if it was someone else that he killed when he was a mercenary.
We found Amit.
He's already found her, but they need to get excavating, I guess.
Mark Spector's in Cairo. He's tracking us.
So these two goons have showed up again, the fake police officers. I wonder if they're like from the comics, if they're actually named characters. Ooh. Okay, that wasn't Mark. They looked like Mark for a second there.
We're never gonna find Haro. Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, look, holding back a bit. That kid looked pretty young. That guy looked pretty young. He looked like a kid almost. So this doesn't look like it's actually filmed in Egypt. I was wondering if they would film on site or anything. This looks like a set. It looked like there's a lot of green screen or blue screen with the background.
Mark! Don't do it, Mark. Stop.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. Did Stephen take control again a bit there? We're seeing it kind of from the other side. This is exactly what Stephen experienced. Yeah, so Stephen's kind of acting as a bit of a conscience for him. And look, there's a mirror there again.
Where is Haro? Tell me. Mark! That's enough. Stephen, what did you do? I swear it wasn't me. Then who was it?
It wasn't Mark or Stephen. There's a third personality. An even darker one, it seems, Stephen was kind of the dark personality, but this one's just killed these guys.
He's just a kid.
He'll talk.
Not kind of Khonshu himself taking over fully, is it?
Praise Amit.
Oh, wow. It feels like they can get away with some of this darker stuff if it's not happening on screen, if it's, you know, this other personality. But this is like on screen, this guy falling. Obviously, we don't see the splat or anything.
What about the other gods? Are they just gonna stand by and allow somebody to unleash Amit?
Anger them enough, and they'll imprison me in stone.
So Khonshu is at risk here as well. I was wondering about the other gods.
What are you doing?
Sending the gods a signal they can't ignore.
Causing an eclipse because he's god of the moon.
I'm about to be called upon.
They're gathering their avatars now.
So there's multiple avatars for all of these other gods as well.
Our case against Harrow must be indisputable.
Aren't you coming with?
Khonshu's not actually gonna go, is he? He's just gonna observe. I feel like maybe Steven should be the one to get the point across, because the way he described it last episode, he was very blunt about it, and he's obviously very empathetic. Maybe they can see that. But then Mark's got the kind of more stern personality.
We're inside the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah, he's loving this. Will we actually get to see any of the other gods? It's Ra, the sun god, right? He will be annoyed that Khonshu blocked out the sun, maybe, with the eclipse.
She says it was not so long ago Khonshu enjoyed Hathor's melodies.
Is she gonna act like a bit of a friend here?
Has Khonshu told you how this works?
Not really.
Yeah, she's a bit of a guide for him.
You've been banished once for nearly exposing us, Khonshu.
So they're speaking through the people, they're not actually animating and all of the gods.
I was banished for not abandoning humanity unlike the rest of you.
We have not abandoned humanity. They abandoned us.
Oh, because the people of the world don't believe in Egyptian gods anymore.
We decided long ago we did not wish to meddle.
But Amit might be meddling.
Conspiracy to release Amit!
That is a heavy accusation.
I mean, it is true.
But if visiting the sands were a crime, the line of sinners would be longer than the Nile. Do not trust the word of a shamed God.
Yeah, and none of them really believe Khonshu in the first place.
Man is clearly insane.
Oh, that's cool.
We will not tolerate violence.
I'm surprised they're fooled so easily. Like, they don't know that he is Amit's avatar and trying to summon Amit.
This is about how dangerous he is if you would just listen for a second.
He has committed no offense.
Yet. But I guess that's kind of the Khonshu ideology. He hasn't committed any offense yet, but we know he's going to. Don't know, is she convinced or is she just concerned for him?
Find Senfu's sarcophagus and you'll find your tomb.
Okay, how am I supposed to do that?
His sarcophagus was stolen and sold on the black market.
So Layla might know something about it. Layla knows all about the stolen stuff on the black market.
So what exactly are we gonna do here? What's the plan?
Oh.
Yeah, see, they're like showing the modern side as well. It's not just all ancient Egypt like a lot of shows would do. You can tell the director is putting his stamp on it.
For what it's worth, I had it under control until very recently.
What happened?
Yeah, I want to know how the split personality came to be. Was it always there or what?
Layla,
It's been a while.
Good to see you.
the Madripoor, I'm sure you two will have a lot to talk.
Oh, name dropping Madripoor again. So Mogar and Layla have ties to Madripoor. Yeah, I was noticing that they weren't shaking hands. Beck didn't, and then he didn't.
I'd like to hear from your husband, if you don't mind.
But I think I just would love to take a look.
I mean, this is where him being Stephen in the forefront could be useful. Stephen has all the knowledge.
All I'm seeing is literature to guide the dead. There's no location indication.
These glass pyramids, they remind me of the Louvre.
What now is you give me the body and you piss off.
He's praying.
Sorry, if you expect my help, it's not going to be while I'm imprisoned. Do you want a bloodbath? Fold it over the middle piece. This one? Yes, that one.
Oh, they're not gonna like him touching stuff though.
Hey, what are you doing?
Mark! Don't!
They already have gun draws on her.
Prevent the wounds from your father's murder from real. Your husband doesn't tell you the truth.
Did he murder her dad then?
Summon the suit.
Yeah, he might have to. He's not gonna judge Anton and kill him, is he?
He's gone.
Where is he?
There it is, the moon. Is his cape actually bulletproof? It looked like they were going through there. But Khonshu said it is healing. He's grabbing the cape. You know what they say?
No kicks! Stop it! Stop it! No, Mark.
But, like, I get Steven doesn't want the violence, but what else can he do here? Apart from, like, run.
Sorry. For a second. Take the body! Take the body, Mark!
yeah, exactly. So does this, like, not damage him at all? I really want to know a bit more about his powers and, like, what the capabilities of the suit actually are. Yeah, notice her moon necklace is it, so it's a weapon. Yeah, but he threatens Layla instead of Mark, because obviously this isn't doing much damage to him. They didn't show Anton's death on screen. He got hit and then went off into the fog, so we didn't actually see him die.
I don't know. He's just trying to mess with you, you know? He's trying to get in your mind. No, don't let him do that.
But it might not be Mark who killed her dad. It might be this third, even more violent personality.
It's like I've not known you at all.
Yeah. You haven't.
Yeah, it feels like Mark is a bit guilty though. But he might be guilty because he knows, not because he was the one who did it.
I'm not getting any whole constellations. It's just little pieces and fragments.
Let Steven do it, yeah? They need to work together.
Go ahead, you're in. Cheers, thanks a lot.
That's great, the way his face, like, changed, just the facial expression.
We should be able to triangulate the stars into coordinates.
Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Senfu marked that tomb, like...
So the constellations have changed.
Unless we know exactly what the sky looked like on that date, we're buggered.
I remember that night.
Oh, Khonshu can help.
I can turn back the night sky.
Oh, he's gonna change the night sky.
The gods imprison me. Tell Mark to free me.
Oh, so he's gonna do this, and then they'll have to imprison him, and then they'll have to come save him. That's cool. I was wondering how they were gonna do it. So it's like it's reversing time. I mean, that is a really cool effect. Yeah, how do the people think about this? There's already so much crazy stuff that happens in their universe, though. Does he still have access to the suit, though, if Khonshu is imprisoned?
You were right about Khonshu. He left us no choice.
This is exactly what Arthur wanted, though.
I enjoyed dealing out pain on your behalf.
Yeah, I want to know a bit more about his time as the Avatar.
Had you not broken me so completely, I might never have known the value of healing. I want you to remember one thing. Your torment forged me.
Yeah, he's a villain of his own creation, you know? I do wonder if Arthur thinks he isn't worthy as well, because he was saying he enjoyed this torment, he enjoyed the suffering that he created under Khonshu's rule. He's kind of, is he trying to bring Ymit about as like a form of like reparations, like he wants to make up for all that he did wrong, and then when Ymit is resurrected, he will offer himself up for judgment, and he thinks he won't be worthy of living anymore. Okay, so that was Moon Knight episode 3. A lot of interesting revelations this episode. You know, it always feels like episode 3 and 4 always when things are building up a lot more for these shows because it's reaching the climax. And I've heard the people who have had the previews and have already seen episode 4, they've said that next episode is a really crazy one. So I think the big thing here is Layla's dad. We find out he was an archaeologist, and I kind of pieced it together before they revealed it in the show. It seems like Mark killed her dad, or at least knows who killed her dad, or it's this third alternate personality that we haven't actually met yet who killed her, but Mark knew. So, you know, he obviously feels guilt. He either feels guilt because it was him who did it, or he feels guilt because he knows who did it and he kept it a secret this whole time. And then on this third personality, I know in the comics the Mr. Knight, he is like his own personality, right? But here he is just kind of the suit for Steven, so we can differentiate when Mark and when Steven are in control. But that is like another personality for him. I don't really know how many personalities there are in the comics. I know there's a few. I don't know if there's just going to be these 3 or if there'll be like even more. But this third one, he seems much more violent, doesn't he? He had killed all of these guys and he's been like really suppressed this whole time. You know, neither Steven nor Mark really knew about his existence. So has he been just like keeping undercover this entire time, you know? So it's interesting to see that maybe it's like a more villainous side, because at the moment we kind of have the brain and the brawn with Steven and Mark, but they could be like this almost evil personality that they both have to fight against. That would be really interesting. Mark was kind of presented a bit like that, but he's actually trying to do good, right? But if there's this other personality who is like really violent and unhinged, that would be a really interesting spin on it. You could have this third personality that is like what Steven thinks Mark is, you know, because Steven thinks Mark is like this wild and violent person, because we know Mark is doing good here, but there might be this third one who isn't doing good, which that's just a really interesting spin that they could put on this. And then we did meet a few more of the gods here. I'm not great with like the Egyptian history and all of the gods. I know Ra and Anubis, but I had to look up what these other gods were. So there was Hathor, who was the one who was helping Mark a bit, and she's the god of sexuality and music, which we heard her say. And then there were these other ones. I'm not exactly sure which one was the avatar for who, because they didn't really say. They said what the gods were, but we didn't see which each one was. So there's Horus, who is the sky and healing, Isis, which is motherhood and magic, and they pronounce it Isis, not Isis, of course. Osiris, who is death and resurrection, and then Tefnut, who is water. So it would be cool to see these people again, see these avatars again, see what kind of powers they have, because we've seen the Moon Knight, he has power over the moon. With Tefnut, does he have power over water, or she have power over water? And can Osiris resurrect people? You know, there's a lot of interesting possibilities with these other gods and these other avatars to show up if they wanted to. And I did notice, you know, in this realm when having this meeting, it's the avatars who are talking, not the actual gods. I'm wondering if that's just kind of to save the budget a bit. They don't have to CGI in all of these other gods. They just have the avatars there speaking. Speaking of that, it did seem like the kind of some of the Egypt stuff, especially on the rooftop in that first scene, that wasn't actually filmed in Egypt. It looked like it was like a set and blue screen. So I don't know if they actually filmed anything in Egypt, or they had like a B team who just filmed like the opening shots to show Egypt, because we did see some like wide shots of Egypt, but there might just be like a B team for the opening shot, or like the introductory shots of the locations, right? And then when we see our characters, they're just like on a set. And then I did really like this moment of the kind of rewinding of the stars. You know, this moment where it could have been quite a simple moment, them just looking at the constellation. They made it like this big grand event, and then the music swelling as well was really great. You know, they're reusing this same theme over and over again, but they're like remixing it a bit. Like there's a bit of a spooky version. This one was a bit more like a grand operatic version. They're really like mixing and matching this song to fit all of these different vibes, but the melody still remains. So it's building this like strong emotional connection for the audience with this melody. And that's one thing that MCU got criticized a bit for at the start, was their music and how like it wasn't really that memorable. But I think the MCU's definitely improved on that, especially with like the Avengers theme coming up again. It's so iconic now compared to the first Avengers film when they used it for the first time. And then of course at the end, as a consequence of this rewinding of the stars, of Khonshu has been imprisoned, so Mark and Steven are gonna have to go save him. And I am wondering if they have access to the suit now, because he was in the suit and then it cuts to him on the floor, knocked out essentially without the suit. And if he's knocked out here, who's going to take control? Steven, Mark, or this third personality? Will we finally actually meet him? And you know, when will we actually release Khonshu? Will it be during the next episode, or will it be like the finale? It seems like they're going to have to go and convince the other gods to re-release Khonshu, but it might be the case where Arthur releases Ymit and then the gods realize they were wrong, and then he has to go to them and say, release Khonshu so I can get my suit back and fix all of this problem that you've made. I really liked Arthur's moment just talking to Khonshu a bit, just because it builds a bit more of this mystery about what happened with Arthur and Khonshu. I think it's a really great touch, him being the former Avatar, because it builds this history between them and adds some depth to Arthur. You know, he has even more a reason to be working against Khonshu now, doesn't he? Because he was the previous Avatar and he knows that his methods aren't right, or that he thinks that his methods don't work, you know? So yeah, I think that's everything for this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider leaving a like or a comment and be sure to subscribe. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.